This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic. And nice little wubba lubba dub dub in Wookiee speak, because that brings us...
You have no idea what I fucking said, man.
I know exactly what you fucking said, man.
Yeah? Oh, you're just saving face for them on the camera?
Here is the thing, is we're going to have a lot of, like, little things to throw out before the podcast starts, so I'm going to say this. YouTube, if you're looking for, hey, I came here for the MCU stuff, there'll be a timestamp down below. So you can click that in case you don't want all of our pre-stuff, but I know you guys do. But welcome to the Rick and Johnny podcast, where we talk about everything in movies, entertainment, TV, MCU, DC, comics, superheroes. How much more stuff can I reiterate the same thing by saying a different word? Star Wars. Basically, we talk about everything under the two nerdy sons. And today we got a jam-packed show for you guys. Going to be looking at an MCU theory. Did Endgame lay the seeds for the Young Avengers? Yes, it will have Endgame spoilers as well. But the spoiler ban has now been lifted, as this is coming out after Monday of that spoiler ban being lifted by the Russos. Then we're going to take a look at the Sonic trailer and react. Is Paramount going to get it right the second time through?
The Hedgehog.
When they redesign Sonic the Hedgehog. Then a third topic, we're going to take a look at James Bond and just kind of the topic of, are we ready for a female version of 007? Because it's been something that we've thrown out. I know we've talked about it with Idris Elba. Of, are we ready for a 007 of a different race? And I know that was a different conversation. This time we're looking at the female variety. And as always, help support MVP by going to patreon.com/most valuable podcast. We're trying to get a new studio. This box that we are in feels like we're in the compactor from A New Hope. The walls just keep coming in and coming in.
I've been in a
week.
compactor.
Yeah, I bet it's not fun.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I bet it's not fun.
Smells weird.
At all. I bet you it smells very
Smells
weird.
bad.
But help us get a new studio. Patreon.com/most valuable podcast. We've got the first MVP podcast for everyone. Should be coming out in 10 days, under 10 days. We're recording this on Cinco de Mayo, which is also a happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody out there. But Johnny, before we get into everything, I'll end the gold, bronze, silver tiers. Make sure to help support us, help us get that new studio. But Johnny, before we get into everything, we've got a lot of housekeeping that's not really housekeeping to get through. So the first one is very sad news, and the reason why Johnny did his Chewbacca impersonation to start is we want to give condolences to the families and friends as well as everybody in the Star Wars community. A very heavy-hearted Star Wars day for May 4th. May the 4th be with you, because just before that, it was announced that Peter Mayhew, the actor who was Chewie for all the Star Wars films,
I think all except the recent one. Just because
I know Force Awakens, he was on that one because he was mentoring the next Chewbacca.
I think the one after that.
So Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. I think he was not Chewbacca.
Okay, that was the. Can't remember his name. The blonde. I know he's blonde haired. Because I saw his tweet about it. But just the condolences for everyone in the Star Wars community that we lost
Peter Mayhew.
An iconic person for the Star Wars family. And I will be honest. You know what I did when I found out? I found it on YouTube. And although it pained me to rewatch it, I rewatched the opening of that Christmas special.
Oh, really?
I rewatched because it's all Wookiee for the first part of that Christmas special.
I think the whole part of that section is all Wookiee.
It is all Wookiee.
Yeah,
no, I know. I've
the
seen
Wookiee's life day.
Yeah, exactly. And they speak in Wookiee, but
yeah.
I did that for Peter Mayhew. Although I was watching it, going, "Oh man, I forgot how bad this Christmas special was." And you could tell that Mark Hamill was. I believe that was the time he was hopped up on painkillers
because he had
his accident. Yeah. And you can just tell nobody wanted to be there for that Christmas special. But yet again, watched it I did it for you, Pete. And just wanted to give our condolences to the Star Wars community. Very sad and heavy-hearted Star Wars Day. Also, may the 4th be with you, although it's already the 5th here as we are recording. Then we've got some MCU little nuggets to throw out. The first one I'm going to throw your way, Johnny, because you were the one that sent me this article. You are the resident Thor guy in the room. I want to ask you, what is your thoughts of the article you sent me, and this is from WeGotThisCovered.com, where they say Beta Ray Bill to debut in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They say a source close to them told us that James Gunn will see the debut not only of Beta Ray Bill, but also Quasar as well.
So we're just going to jump right into this, huh?
Yeah, we're just going to jump right in. This is going to be kind of the pre before we get into the MCU stuff.
The pre.
Yeah, basically. And I want to get your thoughts because you're the Thor guy.
I mean, it would make sense. I'm going to take this off so I can actually hear what we're talking about. I think the storyline could make sense. I mean, he's a Corbinite that's. Excuse me.
It's all that Mountain Dew you're drinking.
Got a problem with my Mountain Dew?
No.
I'm all hopped up Mountain Dew.
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
I'll beat your ass.
But go ahead.
So anyways, recollection, if I'm remembering correctly, wow, I can't word today. He's a Corbinite. One of the storylines I know of is he's the last one, not like last one alive, but last one that's not in isolation or not isolation. What the hell is that called?
Banished?
No, they're inside like tubes to keep them from cryogenic. Thank you. The kind of cryostasis.
Yeah, that's the word you're looking for.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. They're in like a cryostasis so they can find like a new home and keep them all safe until they do alive. And he's the one that's supposed to be like kind of super soldier serumed so he can protect them until they find a new place. And that's the thing is, I think that could be a very well way to do it. Maybe like half of them disappear out of their tubes and we like catch up on that part. No, this is 5 years later.
Yeah.
So this would have to be a.
I just want to see him and Thor go head to head, champion versus champion.
Maybe he like sends out a distress signal and the Guardians come in and like Thor's the first one to go in. And they just go toe to toe.
Yeah.
And when he picks up Stormbreaker and whacks Thor in the face with it.
To me, it'll be interesting to see how they fit. Because Guardians 3 to me is still kind of like because I'm for sure, and I say that with a question mark, that Adam Warlock is going to be the main baddie in that one. But I just can't wait to see what they're going to do with that one now that we know from Endgame, spoiler, that Thor is now going to be in
the
Guardians 3.
Yeah.
The other little snippet news that I wanted to throw out there before we get into our MCU stuff is there is news that Hulu is going to get a live-action Ghost Rider and a live-action Hellstrom series. These are two separate series that Hulu is going to be getting. However, the thing I want to throw out there is that the Ghost Rider one is going to be Robbie Reyes, the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, and it's going to be played by Gabriel Luna, who, Johnny, you might find familiar because he is the actor that played Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So I wonder if it's going to be kind of a spin-off.
They said it's going to be and that was the second article I sent, so I will get that from my email really quick. Variety had an article where they were talking about Gabriel
new
Luna.
iteration.
Yeah, it's going to be a new iteration, but he is still going to play Ghost Rider like he did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I'm down with that because that still I think he was a good Ghost Rider.
Yeah, you're our Agents of... I've
seen all of it so far, except for the new season that has just come out this past month, I think.
Yeah. So that's why for the Gabriel Luna, I'm like, I'm going to throw it to Johnny.
Yeah, no, I am down for that, especially if they're going to do a new iteration. I've got no problems with that because he was, like I said, he was a good Ghost Rider. I liked him as Robbie Reyes, especially since even though they're not tying it in with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., hopefully they make another, what's his name? It's not Johnny. I know his first name is Johnny, but...
You're talking about the original?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Yeah. So... The funny thing you say that is I was going to pull up the first comment on the superhero hype article.
Yeah.
Which actually has his name in it where someone said...
God damn,
it keeps trying to give me new articles where...
It keeps just kind of like... lower. Johnny Blaze.
I was excited for Ghost Rider, but then saw it'd be Robbie Reyes instead of Johnny Blaze.
No.
So, I mean, there are some people that are like, they want to see Johnny Blaze. However... Robbie Reyes, like one of the comments says here, watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 4 or the first half of it anyways. They showed Johnny Blaze passing on the curse to Robbie in order to make him the new Ghost Rider. Johnny is somewhere in the MCU, but he's not the Rider anymore.
Yeah. It'd be cool to like throw Johnny in there and like little here's and there's.
Because Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider was Johnny Blaze, right?
Yes, but that's not MCU.
No, I know.
But that
was Johnny
Blaze. Was Johnny Blaze.
Okay.
In the Nicolas Cage set, the two that came out.
Yeah.
Which again, I actually thought those were good. I mean, very indie film style, especially the second one.
Yeah.
Have you seen the second?
I don't even remember seeing the second one.
The second one was, oh my God, there's so many parts that like I'm looking at, it's like this is really good, but this is very indie film style. So like,
I know I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
The second one, like I know they made one, but I'm like, I don't remember. Yeah, I didn't.
I shouldn't have to say spoilers by now, but spoilers.
You're saying Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
I actually liked it.
18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, well, I don't listen to that because
I know. I just
Paddington Bear 2 got 100%.
The audience only gave Spirit of Vengeance a 32.
That's higher than the 18.
Came out February 17th, 2012. But go ahead, what you're going to say with your spoiler.
Yeah, so... Oh, crap. I forgot where I was at now.
You said spoiler, but I shouldn't have to say spoiler.
For Spirit of Vengeance, so we find out in that one that he can, like, take any vehicle.
Okay.
And turn into a Ghost Rider vehicle. So he takes this huge piece of machinery and takes over it and is like a huge ass digging machine.
I remember now that you're saying this, I remember the trailers.
And I'm like, I love seeing that because I also see this huge thing spinning and you just see like him taking out like this huge group of guys that are trying to come after him. I'm like, okay, that's really fucking cool actually. Because I didn't know that. And this is one of those things that like I didn't know Ghost Rider, and maybe it's not canon to the comics, but it was cool to see in film where he can take over any vehicle.
Yeah.
Per se.
I am right now pulling up the 2-minute trailer from 2012.
Spirit of Vengeance.
Because I'm pretty sure I remember this trailer. I thought they had it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Unless this is like the...
I thought they did too. Or it's like something that looked like it.
He's got the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost Rider was always one where it was like... It was a cool concept, but I don't know if... And of course, this is us looking back. I'm not sure they really executed Ghost Rider as well as they could have.
Probably not as well as they could have. I did like a lot of like the little... I don't want to call them tropes, but like... I like the... oh, God. I think it was Sam Elliott was in it.
Yeah.
Was it? He was.
I think so.
In the first one?
I think so.
And like he kind of passes on the gauntlet per se because he was the first Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Or he was the one right before Johnny. And he's like, oh, I got one last ride in me. You see him on the horse, kind of Ghost Riders in the Sky style, and next to him is Johnny Blaze on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty, like, that scene, for example, was really cool. The end fight was pretty cool. It was like, hey, as long as I'm in the shadows, I can be the Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Sticks his hand in the shadows, pops him with the shotgun.
And the thing I find interesting with this is that also Runaways, which is another Marvel Hulu series, is going to be picked up for a 3rd season.
Oh, is it?
As well.
I actually didn't watch that one. Yeah, so I'll be honest.
So they announced those with the 2 that came out here. But let's move into... the really big thing that we're going to talk about, and this is going to be a long segment. because we've already gone, Johnny, about 14 minutes just on our housekeeping stuff.
Yeah.
But I knew that today was going to be one of those days. But the main meat and potatoes of this, and if you're joining us from the timestamp I put below, hello. But we're talking MCU's Phase 4 theory today.
Okay.
And I did not send you the article in our email.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't want you to read it coming into today.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I wanted you to be fresh to it. I wanted to get your kind of raw reaction to this theory, which before I will say, Endgame spoilers. If you haven't seen Endgame, go see it. Come back. We'll be here. But this is going to spoil some stuff in Endgame, especially at the end of the movie. So if you have not seen it, go and see it. Come back. We will be here. But here is basically the theory that we're throwing out there today, Johnny, that I'm not throwing out there. This is actually from an article by Thomas Bacon, great last name, from ScreenRant.com.
Always a good last name.
And here is basically the crux of it. So they start the article by saying what we already knew, what you already told us at the end of Endgame, is that the kid at Tony Stark's funeral is Harley from Iron Man 3. Here is the thing that they are saying, or asking, is could Harley become Iron Lad? And Iron Lad being a character that then would go into something that I know you have said numerous times, is are they setting up the Young Avengers? Because here's all we've got, the seeds we have so far. At the beginning of Endgame, Hawkeye says to his daughter, calls her Hawkeye.
Yep.
That's one. We know that there's a Hawkeye Disney Plus series coming to Disney Plus.
Yes.
What we do not know is he going to pass the mantle? And in the MCU...
Stay as Ronin and hand over the mantle.
If he's going to pass the mantle in the MCU, he's going to give it to his daughter, because in the comics, the only reason he gave it to Kate Bishop is because he wasn't married in the comics. He is married in the MCU.
Yeah.
So odds are if he passes it in that series, it's going to be to his daughter, which, boom, would be one of the Young Avengers stars that's there. We also now have an older Cassie Lang.
Yes.
And Cassie Lang, at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, said, I want to do what my dad does. I want to help people. So right there, planting the seed for stature, which is what Cassie Lang turns into for Young Avengers. We also had, what's the other one? We had one more, I thought. Namor, obviously, has been teased, but he wouldn't be Young Avengers. I think then the last one is basically, could Harley
be Iron Lad?
The two that I've seen thrown out there is the one that I said, obviously, at the end is, will Morgan Stark grow up to be Iron Heart, which could make sense, but right now she's like 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the 5
max?
She's 5 max.
Well,
probably 4 or 5.
Between 3 and 5, because like they didn't have her right away. You still got 9 months gestation.
Or what I'm saying is when the dream was she already pregnant, which I'm thinking she was. I'm thinking he had that dream because Tony has dreams that tell the future. He kind of did. It was kind of true. It kind of. It didn't end the way he thought it would.
That was more of a Scarlet put that in his head. Scarlet Witch.
But it was, some of that stuff was kind of like with Infinity War and Endgame.
Anyways, I digress. And before this becomes off topic,
we're going to go off tangents. Come on, that's what happened.
But where we don't need to. I'm going to cut that one off.
The first question I will ask you is, we're going to take the Morgan Stark thing and push it to the side.
Yeah.
Because Harley is older. He's old enough to be Iron Lad right now. And the line that made me in this article go, oh, holy shit, he is like, he could do it, is basically, so to refresh, and I'm going to read this right from the article, there'd be an amusing irony to Harley becoming the MCU equivalent. Given in Iron Man 3, he literally said he wanted to be Iron Man, and Tony quipped back, maybe if I die, kid. That to me was like, holy shit.
I forgot about that line.
Like, maybe if I die, kid, well, he's dead. So to me, I'm going to ask you, before we get into the whole, are they setting up Young Avengers? Because I know that's something that you are very hyped about and you think they are. Well, spoiler.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm asking is, could Harley become Iron Lad for the Young Avengers and take on the Iron Man mantle?
So I know I've said Young Avengers as well, but I've also been saying the one that I've been harping more is that newer Avengers lineup where it's got the female Thor that's just known as Thor. I'm just stating so people know who it is. Falcon is taking the front.
Yes.
Which in the comics he does, and now he's again. Well, we already said spoilers, so I don't have to now. He's taken the mantle of Captain America, which is that part. Yep. Spider-Man's in it. We would have to rebuild Vision if you want. This is if we're following verbatim it. And then what would have to happen is Harley becomes Iron Lad and takes over that part for Iron Man, who is now dead. Because Iron Man's supposed to be in there as well.
Yeah.
But that's easily fixed by that. And I know I'm missing two characters. One is Nova, and one is Captain Marvel.
Which Nova we could introduce in a Captain Marvel movie or a Guardians movie.
Miss Marvel. I'm sorry, it's Miss Marvel
which
as well.
They are talking about. They are going to bring her into the universe, but that is going to be more of a present day. Miss Marvel, not because I mean some people have said, oh, when Captain Marvel said, "Well, I have friends." Oh, was she talking about Miss Marvel? And Kevin Feige came out and said, no, Miss Marvel will be set to the present day when that movie comes out.
That would be good because that's what we need is present day Miss Marvel because it's supposed to. She's like, oh.
The question I will ask you then is, could they do New Avengers and Young Avengers side by side?
I would say go for it because I don't know what's the New Avengers lineup exactly. If you have it in front of you,
the new one or the young.
Do Young Avengers.
So Young Avengers.
I'll look up the new one.
The current roster right now in the comics is Hawkeye, Hulkling, Marvel Boy, Miss America, Prodigy, Speed, and Wiccan. Former members Kid Loki, Patriot, Stature, and Vision. But obviously the MCU one is always going to be a little different. It up. Where basically we have right now, like I said, Stature, Hawkeye, which would be Hawkeye's daughter.
Yeah.
And then a potential Ironheart, Iron Lad. So we have 3. You would probably need 5, which would maybe be interesting to who are they going to introduce or who are they going to have in that lineup also.
The one thing they would have to still do is set up the female Thor unless they have Thor come back. But right now he's with the Guardians, and I'm almost... Yeah. Where is it at? Mocking? No, that's not it either. Where is it? I've got the wiki up right now. That's not the one.
This is for the New Avengers?
This is the New Avengers, yeah. There you go. Captain America. This one says Captain America, a.k.a. Winter Soldier.
Well, I mean, in the comics, in the comics, I don't think Falcon was Captain America for long.
Trying to find that one, though, because that's the one I... See, I found Kate Bishop views...
I'll look for it while you talk.
Yeah, anyways. Well, that's what I was trying to find out is, like... lost my train of thought for a second there now.
You're talking about New Avengers and how they would even set that up.
Oh, yeah. So they would still have to set up the female Thor, which we have no idea where the remains of Mjolnir are. So that would have to be a storyline in itself.
Which that's another like whole thing of like, holy shit, what did Cap... Like I've seen articles of like, what did Cap do to Mjolnir? Did he bring it back?
Maybe.
We didn't technically see him.
Well, he brought it back with him when he... We didn't see him put anything away necessarily, but my guess is Cap being Cap, he put it all where it's supposed to go.
Because Cap does the right thing.
He does, which is why he was worthy of it at the end there.
Worthy. Yeah, all of the things I'm seeing is just the publications for everything. But like the picture that I'm looking at here is like the Thing, Captain Marvel, Wolverine. You have Luke Cage, and that's the thing. Oh, here it is. The roster first comprises Luke Cage, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Spider-Woman. Later stretches include the Mutant X-Men Wolverine, the Unstable and Godlike Sentry, the Deaf Ninja Echo in Guise of Ronin. So, I mean, that's another thing, too, of with this, like with the New Avengers, they can basically make their New Avengers whatever they want. Like,
they definitely can.
Just because we don't have, like, this iteration doesn't mean we can't do it what it is right now. And I would say the New Avengers in the MCU right now, you would have Captain America as Falcon, because that's who the mantle was passed off as. You've got Spider-Man, who would be in there. I'm trying to think who... Black Panther, would he be in the... Yeah, I would say...
He could be in the MCUs.
I'm going to say Black Panther because here's the thing.
He does become part of the Avengers for a while.
Is Falcon going to want to be the leader of this new Avengers Corps? Or is he going to be like, hey, I'm not Steve, man. Like, dude, T'Challa, I'm not Steve. You need to be the leader.
What I feel like would happen is because, like, oh, Cap's always been the leader. He's going to try it for a while and say, I'm not a leader. We need to pass this. We need to pass the buck to someone else. The buck.
Captain Marvel's interesting. I don't think she can be a main player. She's like an add-on because she's got space that she's got to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
And even Cap in Endgame says, we get space as your territory. Kind of leaning into, in her movies, we're going to be focused on the space stuff and not the Earth stuff. But like now that they have the X-Men, they could totally introduce Wolverine.
Yeah.
As a new Avenger. After, of course, implementing the just X-Men into the universe. But they have so many different ways that they can go with it, that I think the next thing that people are expecting, or the people that people are wanting, though, is Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Which to me would make sense to have the dueling kind of the dueling lineups of a Young Avengers Corps and a New Avengers Corps in the MCU.
I think that would be a good way to do it, is do the Young Avengers for one like line of it, and the Young Avengers for one and the New Avengers for another one. Mm-hmm. Because that way you have like the split off of like, hey, this is Falcon's daughter, this is this one, that one.
Found it.
I found the one I was looking for too.
Then go ahead.
And this is just just one picture for the comics front. It has the female Thor, Falcon as Cap, Miss Marvel as Kamala Khan, if I said that right. Iron Man in this case, Nova, Spider-Man, and Vision. And obviously, again, they can switch it up however they want in the MCU.
Yeah.
But like usually they try to fix a lineup that's like, hey, it sort of fits the comics, to like give you the idea, hey, this is the line we're following.
Yeah, the only thing that it comes to is like, for example, Lady Thor.
Yeah.
If they like, the MCU and Marvel have not been ones to say, hey, we have to make it like this.
Oh, I'm not saying they have to. I'm just saying like this is the lineup that I was thinking they were going to sort of follow. And it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be that way.
Do you think they would introduce a female Thor?
Maybe, maybe not.
Because like Chris Hemsworth ain't done.
He's not done, but like he's got his own Thor movie. If they want to do this line, like if they want to do this lineup, they may say, "Hey, someone somewhere fixed Mjolnir somehow." Or some way. So what it's supposed to be in the comics, and spoilers if you haven't read it, is Jane Foster takes over. Yeah, she gets Mjolnir and takes over.
A lot of people I see online are like, "Oh my god, I want to see Jane Foster as
Thor."
But the one thing I will say is, if you're hoping Natalie Portman is going to be Jane Foster, I don't think that's going to happen.
There was stuff between her and the studio.
Well, to me, it was a shock that she was even in Endgame.
Yeah.
Because her whole deal had to deal with what I texted you last week that I found out that I forgot about, was that she was mad at the studio because they let Patty Jenkins go.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be on for Thor 2. and I texted to you like, ha ha ha, I make fun of that movie all the time. And look at the person that they let go was actually a really good person, and they shouldn't have let them go.
No, shouldn't.
But yeah, she was very angry about that fact.
Yeah. So that's what my thought was. Is like, that's the one thing that's gonna harp it. Is she gonna? Would she ever be? Well, you kind of can't do it if you're not gonna get Jane Foster back in the MCU.
But
unless you do a different iteration of it, because I think Valkyrie also takes no, she doesn't. Maybe not.
They could do Jane Foster.
Yeah, they could.
We would just Incredible Hulk her.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's exactly what it would be. It would be Jane Foster, just not Natalie Portman. Yeah. It would just be like, well, Jane looks like this now, and then they wouldn't even explain why.
Yeah, or just straight. Yeah, they wouldn't explain why, or just straight up make her female Thor all the time.
Because I mean, the only thing is, Jane and Thor broke up, but like that would probably be the only thing they would have to fix. They would not have to explain why, just like when they got Ruffalo. It's like, this is the Hulk now.
They don't have to explain why they broke up or anything, or put them back together, if that's what you're saying.
Well, I'm assuming if there's a lady Thor's going to find out there's a Thor-like person and want to confront that person.
Oh, there's going to confront, yeah, for sure.
And then find out, like, they're going to have a moment then. Like, a moment of, like, oh, it's you? Like, that's what I feel like they would have to
have to do, yeah. But, like, the first one to find out in the comics, again, spoilers if you haven't read it, is Falcon finds out first. Because he finds out Jane is going through chemo. And that's... I forgot how he found out exactly, but he meets her at the chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And that's where they start kicking it off. That's where their relationship starts.
Jane and Falcon?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because I haven't read that one. That hasn't been one that I dove into. But I mean, the whole thing that's interesting is what are they going to do after Endgame?
Yeah.
And there are so many villains that they could bring in. The thing that makes me think Young Avengers is because Kang the Conqueror is also not just an Avengers, but a Young Avengers villain as well.
Well, it's funny because he's the first villain I meet in this series.
Really?
It's Kang, yeah.
And I mean, with them messing with timelines and stuff in Endgame,
it opens up a whole new...
It's kind of inevitable that he would be the one that would be like, hey, stop fucking with my shit here.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to rule over
Well,
here.
that's what it, like, would it be a big part is like, okay, Thanos snapped, got rid of half of everyone, makes a perfect platform for him to rise to power. He has half as many people in the universe to deal with.
Yeah. Well, here's another interesting point that I did not think about in Endgame. Everyone who died in the Snapture, not everyone's coming back. And the reason why I say that is I was reading an article and they put it out perfectly. Imagine there's a plane, and there were probably numerous planes in the air.
Oh, yeah.
When that happened. Let's say half of that plane goes, and the pilot's one of them. The people that were in the plane and crashed, they're not coming back.
No, they're not.
Only the people who were dusted.
Exactly.
So if there's anything like that, or like if someone dusted and hit you with their car and you died, you're not coming back.
There's certain situations where you're not coming, someone else isn't coming back because someone else got dusted.
Yeah.
That's basically, I agree with you. There's people that aren't coming back from that.
It's just the people who got dusted. So, I mean, even for him, if the people that got dusted came back, because I know we had this off the air, but I'm going to throw it in there. We had a time debate about Endgame, and I'm not going to get into that, but the thing I am going to get into is, let's say, so the snap was supposed to happen in that main timeline that the Ancient One mentioned.
Yes.
And that led to Kang. The Avengers fucking shit up, though, like going and changing stuff.
Yeah.
That then messed
with Kang.
With him. And it's like, whoa, that wasn't part of the plan. Thanos was supposed to get the gauntlet, snap half of everyone away. Because, like, Thanos even says in the movie, because you can't live with it, that's not my problem.
Exactly.
Like, it's not my fault you can't live with the repercussions of what happened. Like, basically putting it on the Avengers of, like, I did what was right. I did what I thought was right. Or it's, I fulfilled my destiny. And when you talk about destiny, like Thanos did enough, destiny and fate kind of go hand in hand a bit. And if it was supposed to happen in the timeline, that would be interesting for Kang because the Avengers brought everyone back.
It's interesting to me. I keep thinking about it now that we're talking about this part where Thanos is lying. You and I need to dive into this off the air at some point and come back and talk to them about it.
All right.
The fact of Thanos is lying twice in the movie saying, I am inevitable. Like, that's an interesting one.
Does he know something that we don't?
Yeah, like he's almost like he's calling himself a force of nature.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's
or
something...
like that. I am like the one thing that you're always going to be fighting against is because he snaps half of everyone away. Mm-hmm. Then when they come back to him in Endgame, which we said spoilers, right? Yeah, we said spoilers. In the beginning of it, he goes, I am inevitable. Mm-hmm. And then Thor hacks his head off, finally says, I went for the head.
I'm thinking about something really quick. And
yes,
this
sir.
is because of what they did.
Yeah.
With our whole conversation off the air about the multiverses.
Yes.
And your Thanos thing got me to think about this. If they're going to do Secret Wars, they're going to eventually have to introduce the Beyonder. Yes. Which, if you're unfamiliar with the Beyonder is the sum of an entire multiverse called Beyond Realm, or simply Beyond, hence the name Beyonder. This dimension was originally believed to be accidentally accessed by lab technician Owen Reese. Part of the energy from the dimensional escapes and imbues Reese with infinite powers, which he wields as the villainous molecular man, potentially one of the most powerful villains in the MCU. The remaining energy of the pocket dimension gains sentience and curiosity and becomes the Beyonder. The Beyonder creates a planet called Battleworld. That's where Secret War, that's where most of it takes place, is Battleworld, out of pieces of various planets. And abducts a number of superheroes and supervillains of Earth and force them to fight each other so that they can observe the never-ending battle between good and evil. During this time, his powers were once stolen by Doctor Doom. So to me, let's say off camera, has Thanos talked to a higher form that knows the future? And that's how he knows he's inevitable.
Maybe.
Because, like, there's a part of me, too, that it could be blind cockiness, but is it blind cockiness?
Thanos doesn't seem to be much about blind cockiness.
I'd debate that a little bit. The only reason I would debate that a little bit is Thanos, even in the comics that we've read, yes, in the comic it was more, I'm going to do this to impress Lady Death. But in the MCU, he's always had that kind of attitude of, like, my shit don't stink.
He has that, yeah. I'm talking about, like...
My shit don't stink. I'm doing the right thing. Fuck all y'all.
I'm not saying that. And the blind cockiness of, like... I'm trying to think who you can say. Maybe early Thor. That blind cockiness. His is all, like... He thinks it out. So if he doesn't just say it to say shit. He thinks, like...
Oh, it's premeditated.
It's all premeditated. He's been thinking about shit for a while. So for him to say the fact of, I'm inevitable, makes me wonder, like, are we going to get a lot of bigger baddies a little more often now? Yeah, or, like, are we going to get, like, a Nihilus? Are we going to get Kang, like you stated?
My thing is, I would wonder if he knew... Does he know something that we don't?
Did he open up a can of worms?
Basically.
Yeah.
That we don't
Where
know
we get,
about.
like, a lot heavier hitting. We're gonna get... I know for a fact at some point we're going to get another hit at Dormammu.
Yeah.
Another bigger villain. Like I said, a Nihilus, Kang. Are we opening up to bigger villains now? Or, like, did we open the window for bigger villains?
You mentioned it, I think it was our either last week's first segment or the Endgame review. Now there's no time stone.
Yeah.
So Dormammu can basically do what he wants, and Doctor Strange can't use the Eye of Agamotto because there's no time stone.
As the, hey, I got you on a hold, basically. Stay the hell out of here.
Yeah. Just to kind of wrap everything up, I kind of want to bring this back to Young Avengers, because that's what our title was for this, and
Okay.
I don't feel we talked about them enough.
Go for it. Open it up.
In your mind, yes or no, are they setting up Young Avengers? Or is that just like, hey, they're over here if we want to, but they're more Easter eggs?
As of now, I say they're over here if we want them, semi-Easter eggs, but it does open the door to we can make a Young Avengers series or movies, or we can make that one of the maps we branch off of now. Because Marvel is kind of pulled it onto this one main pocket. Is okay, where do we go from here? We've got Doctor Strange's brand.
Where do we go now?
This was an empty cup. I'd throw it at you.
But go ahead.
So we got the branch of Doctor Strange. We got the branch of Black Panther. We got the branch of. It's but we got these Avengers. What do we do with them? Well, we got the Cap and the Bucky and Falcon series we're gonna do. But what do we do with them movie line? Because we're not gonna just keep them in series, probably.
Yeah.
And it's we always usually at some point we have another Avengers movie, or at least a semi team up movie at some point. And I don't think they're gonna. I don't think that Marvel Disney is going to go. Yeah, we're not going to do another team up movie ever again.
Here's another question I want to ask you, and I only got this because I watched a video from Emergency Awesome, and he had mentioned this in one of his videos. And he was even I'm not sure if they're going to do it, but they could, because of what we saw in Endgame, the part where Captain Marvel, and it's Okoye's don't worry, she's got us. And it was females, yay, woo, the women power, which was a great scene. But it's the thing is with that, was that a tease or a setup for A-Force? Which A-Force is... You've got, yes, She-Hulk was the leader, but it's Captain Marvel, Jessica Jones, Dazzler, Miss America, Phoenix, She-Hulk, Sister Grimm, Spider-Woman, Storm, Emma Frost, Miss Marvel. It's it's basically the women of the MCU.
I'd be cool with that. As long as we're semi-following some sort of canon from the comics, because they always take source from it, and they're not just doing it to do it.
Yeah, Kevin Feige is really good at that.
He is, and that's what I'm saying. As long as we don't just do it to do it, and we do it hey, let's have 3 of the key members, and then just make our own for the rest.
Yeah.
Please go ahead and do it, because that'd be awesome.
Because I think what they could be doing, and of course I'm not in the room, but I'm going to make this prediction.
Yeah.
We will have another Endgame type moment. Will it be as big as Endgame? I don't know. We'll have to see. But
maybe someday.
We will have another Endgame type moment, and it's going to be Secret Wars. And the reason why I say that is we've already introduced Secret Wars and then Secret Invasion too, because Kevin Feige has hinted, yes, we saw the Skrull in Captain Marvel, but that was the good Skrull. There are bad Skrull out there.
True.
So we could see Secret Wars, Secret Invasion. I honestly think that they are going to push 2 lineups, because the thing that you got to think about is Guardians. After Guardians 3, what's that lineup going to look like?
Yeah.
And 2, let's say it's a lineup where it's let's say the Guardians become, hey, we're not going to have just Guardians movies. They kind of get relegated to, all right, we're going to have them in someone else's movie. Or if we have a Guardians movie, oh, Thor is in this movie, this person's in this movie. It's not just the Guardians of the Galaxy moving forward.
Well, that Beta Ray one that Bill we talked about, the article I sent you, also mentions Quasar, which is part of the Guardians lineup to some iteration. So it's okay, well, if they introduce her in some way, even if it's not with Beta Ray Bill, what if it's with...
Quasar?
No, Quasar's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh God, Adam Warlock.
Exactly.
What if it's something that gets introduced in the Adam Warlock lineup? True. What I would love for Guardians, since we have Thor in there, have this big Adam Warlock thing and introduce Quasar throughout the movie. After credit scene, have Thor break off on his own, because there's talks of a Thor 4.
Yeah.
And in that, you kind of start introducing Beta Ray Bill.
The thing I think I'm more going on is, so if Guardians of the Galaxy after 3, if they know they're not going to make a 4 or 5 or 6, and kind of relegate them, they would have an open spot for a team-up movie, a smaller team-up movie, which Young Avengers could be. But also, you got to realize, without Cap, we're losing the Cap movies that we usually... Like, I'm talking lineup-wise.
Yeah.
Losing the Cap movies, losing the Iron Man movies, losing the Hulk movie, because there was only one.
We didn't have that in the first place.
But I feel like, hey, maybe they'll finally give us a leader. They'll give us a Hulk movie with
As of now, I don't see that because they've never even talked on, like, hey, let's make another Hulk movie because they
don't need to. He's fine being an add-on.
I like him as an add-on. I would still like to see a movie. She-Hulk and the Leader. Make that a movie with the Hulk in it. It's like, hey, we can make a She-Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Put Hulk in there, and then we can have the leader.
Well, it would be a Hulk movie with She-Hulk, wouldn't it?
We don't do Hulk movies, remember?
That's right. Do they have the right to She-Hulk?
I don't know. Let's hope they can get it.
I'm assuming the people that have the right to Hulk have the right to She-Hulk.
You never know who's got the right to who nowadays. Well, except Disney almost has all of it.
But yet again, they also have all the Fox properties now.
Exactly.
To fill that with. So they've got a lot on their plate to kind of get everything going. But like this was one where I saw that and I was like, they could have a Young Avengers lineup. Last thing I will ask you, I'm going to lean towards Harley and Iron Lad.
Yeah.
If you had to pick, who would you go with to be the Iron Man replacement in Young Avengers? Would you want to go with an Iron Lad or wait and go with an Iron Heart and have it be Tony's daughter?
I would go here. This is the order I would put it in. First pick to last pick.
Okay. Because I'm guessing there's more than two.
I got one in the middle that I would put as my number 2 spot. Number 1 would be Harley as Iron Lad. Number 2 would be Shuri.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Shuri steps in the line of Riri Williams.
As soon as you said I got one in the middle, I'm like, he's going to bring up a Riri Williams. I'm thinking, who's he going to put into the Riri Williams spot? And then I'm like,
it would be Shuri. She's so smart.
She's actually going to be Shuri.
She's smarter than Bruce and Tony.
But is Shuri,
or as smart as Tony.
Is Shuri going to get the Black Panther mantle after a while?
That's only if he... which I don't think they're going to do that for a while.
Not right now, but eventually.
I said I don't think they're going to do that for a while, though.
She's going to take on Ironheart and then be like, hey, I got to drop this because I got to be Black Panther. And then that's when Morgan Stark says, don't worry, I'm Ironheart.
I'll become Ironheart. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Because, she's
my third spot.
Young.
Yeah, she's what?
After all those cheeseburgers, Happy's going to get her.
Yeah.
Because
get you as many cheeseburgers as you want.
Happy, don't do that. You're just going to make her fat. You're going to make fat Morgan Stark, and I care about her health. That's the main thing.
Don't do what Thor did to himself.
I eat a ton of cheeseburgers, and that's the thing. I could cosplay as thicker Thor. Not just thick Thor, thicker Thor.
I can cosplay as thick Thor.
So we need someone else to be Thor. So it could be the 3 levels of Thor. No, I'll be Hoboken.
You can be Hoboken.
Hoboken's got a little bit of a gut.
Yeah, you can.
I just need an eye patch.
Eye patch and that's it.
Some grayer hair.
White?
Yeah, white, gray.
It's basically white.
Same thing.
Not really.
Gray's a little bit darker than white.
Yeah, gray's a little bit darker than white.
Any final thoughts before we move on into Sonic?
No, I'm excited. We can probably go for hours on what could happen in the MCU.
We usually do.
We do.
But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section. Also, I heard that Namor's probably going to be, because of rights, not a solo movie, added into somebody. So
Black Panther.
Wow,
that's weird.
But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section about New Avengers, Young Avengers, Harley being Iron Lad, Morgan maybe being Riri Williams, and being Ironheart.
Morgan being Riri Williams?
The future of the MCU. What do you think is coming? What would you put next? Let us know what you think down below in that comment section.